There was just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello and welcome to Cancelled. My name is Jessie Stevens, and this is a podcast that's all about celebrity crimes, to which there is traditionally no sentence or jail time, given that generally they've not committed real crimes, but social crimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have committed real crimes, in which case we steer clear, as we are neither paid to or in fact qualified to act as a real-life courtroom. If you're after that, may we suggest you go and hang out in your local courtroom.
Remember when Dad did that on holiday?
Yeah.
Mum and Dad went... Oh, I'm Claire Stevens, by the way. Mum and Dad went
They're
to
in
Melbourne on holidays, and Mum noticed that Dad was going missing for big periods of time, and it did turn out he was sitting in a courtroom watching cases, and he thought the judge was just really good at her job.
They even have a chat afterwards.
Yeah, because she actually said, "Hi, strange member of the public. I've noticed you've been sitting in my courtroom." And he said, "I find what you do fascinating."
We are our dad's daughter.
We are.
That's why we made our own courtroom.
We did.
Before we get into today's show, we need to just a little bit of a callback.
Sometimes we need like a cancelled news segment because
Yeah.
it's like people we've talked about on this show. There's updates. I mean, Leah Michelle, we could talk about that forever, but no.
They keep doing things,
They
don't they?
keep doing things related to the cancellation.
We did do a two-parter on Meghan Markle, and we made comments about the podcast that she hadn't brought out yet. And what did she do? Well, she listened to our podcast and she went, "No,
"Come
you
on."
got me."
She went chop chop, and you can you can tell she went chop chop because this is not an episode that was recorded a long time ago. No. It's quite recent because it's about Serena Williams acknowledging
You
her
know when
retirement.
it's clear that your essay was due 7 days ago, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been sick." Of course I did the research, blah, blah, blah. And then when you hand it in, it's very clear that you didn't start until 2.5 weeks after it was due.
Yeah.
That's what's happened with Meghan. Because it's 20 months since she was like, "No, I'm doing this podcast." She has a team of 28.
I think it was a $30 million offer from Spotify.
Yeah. And now she's done one episode.
Oh, it was 40 minutes. It was a 40-minute episode. I have to say, production's excellent.
Production is excellent.
Meghan has a beautiful podcast voice.
Yeah. Nothing too any other charges that you can think from it?
For me,
Uh-huh.
it would be that, so she's called it Archetypes with Meghan.
Yeah.
And she's really trying to shoehorn the archetypes thing. She's like,
I think she's shoehorning a theme.
She's shoehorning
Yeah.
a theme. And it really is just a discussion with Serena Williams about ambition and motherhood. But just every 5 minutes she goes, "Oh, podcast title." And she goes, "It's like the archetype." No, it's not like the archetypes. Also, I don't think you mean
Yeah.
archetypes. I think you mean stereotypes. And they mean slightly different
things, right.
I encourage everyone to listen to it and tell us what they think.
I really want to know. Please let us know. We should do like a little box on the cancelled
What
thing.
did we think?
Yeah. Because we like to follow our cancelled celebrities.
I've got some petty things I could say. But like I'll say them on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I've got lots of things. But yes, please let us know. On with the show. Some might say we've done too many men lately. The mix isn't right. And to that we say, yeah, good point. We might do a woman next week.
Yeah.
But also, we're just going with what we sense. With that said, Claire, who are we doing today? Andrew Tate. That's also a man.
If a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So she wants to do OnlyFans. She owes him some money because she's his.
Women should clean. And I sat there and I thought, how are women allowed to drive?
What is an Andrew Tate? He seems like, because I think a lot of people listening will have his vibe, and I just want to enter into the courtroom that he seems like he's always had 14 Monster energy drinks.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes. Or something stronger. But we can't say that.
I was speaking to someone the other day and they said, you know someone's given up when they start their day with an energy drink. And I said, great point.
Oh, I've done that before. I've had a Red
but it's
Bull.
not been a good day.
No.
The day can't go up from there.
It's what I've done when I've started the day with an energy drink is said, today's a write-off. Today, I have a thing to get done.
You know it's not good for you. It's not good for your heart. Anyway, Andrew Tate and his energy drinks.
What do you think Andrew Tate's real name is?
My Andrew Tate.
No, it's Emery. Emery Andrew Tate the third. There's a thing about men who are narcissistic and being the third.
I agree. I've noticed the same thing.
I think it's because you come from a father who went, you know what's a great name? My name.
And I'm going to pass it down. You can have the same, but with a third.
Yes.
It's like they think they're kings.
Yes, and you're not a king.
No.
You're from, like, Illinois. Anyway, Emery Andrew Tate III is a former professional kickboxer and internet personality.
I think kickboxing gives me the ick.
I have in my notes. For some reason, when I think of kickboxing, I think of those really aggressive kangaroos. Like, kickboxing seems kind of petty in that, are you just kicking?
Yes, and it's the bare feet.
It's too agile.
It's too agile, and I guess when people punch each other, I mean, I don't love it, but I think that there's something masculine about it. I think there's something a little weak about resorting to kicking, because kicking feels like easier.
It feels childish.
Yeah, like if I got into a fight, I feel like I would instinctively kick because I have no skills. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Because our legs are stronger, but I watched a little bit of Andrew Tate's
There's
kickboxing.
something really icky about watching. The thing is, he's got such a thing against small men. He's a small man.
He weighs 90 kilos.
A small man kicking another man. I hate it.
With his bare feet.
There's the right hand from Tate. There's the right hand again. Good shot there from Tate. He did save the second round. And Germany is out. What a crunching shot.
And they're just the shorts.
Horrible. So he has what I would describe as too much information about his kickboxing career on the About Me section of his website. Basically, according to him, he's a 3-time kickboxing world champion, but it's quite confusing in that he seems to have lost a lot and then recontested it. And I just think if you're such a man, why didn't you win in the first place?
Yeah, I feel as though there's a thing with prominent male podcasters and content creators and MMA.
MMA, kind of sporting careers that aren't the sport. Do you know what I mean?
The
You're
Venn
not a
diagram
basketballer.
is...
You're not a footy player.
No.
You're a sport we didn't know was a thing.
And you weren't even a champion.
You're
You're not
not
Floyd Mayweather.
You weren't that good.
No. And by Venn diagram, I'm talking about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate are part of the diagram.
In the same realm. He's also apparently very good at chess, and his father was a strong player who defeated many grandmasters.
I also read that he played as a kid, but then his dad said he had to stop playing because he wasn't a good loser. And he'd yell at people.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
Throw the queen at someone's forehead. Ouch.
Following his kickboxing career, he started offering paid memberships and courses, mostly about acquiring wealth and also getting pussy via his website. He appeared on Big Brother in 2016, but he was removed from the show after 6 days after the release of a video that showed him beating a woman with a belt. He said that was consensual.
It's misconstrued.
I disagree. He started developing a social media presence when he tweeted several statements about how Harvey Weinstein's victims should accept some responsibility for their own sexual harassment. But it's really in 2022 that he's become this cult figure, and only in recent months that he's gone viral online, mostly on TikTok. It is kind of unclear why, but Google Trends data indicates that web and YouTube searches of him began to grow in May and then spiked in early July. It was a bit of a mystery, but people kind of think they've cracked why this happened. And it's because Hustlers University, which is the course that he runs, it offers an affiliate strategy. So if I post about him and then that post leads to someone signing up to his course, I get a cut.
What you're saying is that Hustlers University is a pyramid scheme.
That's almost a separate issue. What I mean is that all the videos being shared of him and you go, oh, this man has a lot of fans. Those people are financially motivated to share the videos of him. So just keep that in mind.
Do you have any money to pay people?
I don't.
Okay.
Personally.
I like that. What should we offer people? If they share, I mean, we don't have a lot of video content. We need to make more. But if you share cancelled, you'll get good luck.
You'll get good luck. We might even like the post.
Yeah.
We will.
If you tag us.
We will. Jessie, I have so many feelings about this man. My structure is as follows. Firstly, an attempt to recap his ideas. Secondly, Hustlers University, a deep dive. Thirdly, actual criminal investigations / allegations, of which there are several. And finally, how the internet has reacted. Let's get into his ideas.
Cat owners believe in hate speech. Cat owners are Democrats. Cat owners are dickheads.
It's less that Andrew Tate has ideas and more that he chooses a topic and then yells about it for a period of time, and I don't think even he knows where he is going. Here are some of the things he has yelled. Depression isn't real. He argues that feeling depressed is real, but depression isn't real. And he basically says, well, the deal is that this emotion of feeling depressed is that you're in a situation you need to get out of and it's motivating. Okay, so you don't know anything about depression, for one. And secondly, he's very straw man because he's like, I don't have a disease. And it's like, no one ever said depression was a disease.
No,
who are you arguing
it's
against?
not like COVID.
He says life as a man is harder than life as a woman. And Jessie, last week on the podcast, you touched in the intro about your menstrual crisis. I'm currently having my own menstrual crisis. And the fact that this man says life is harder for men,
He is
Andrew
annoying. Have you seen the bit that he has done on sparkling water?
Yes, Jessie, I'm getting to it because there are a list of things he irrationally hates, including still water.
I would say that sparkling water is more feminine. And this is the thing. I start playing by rules I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any water is feminine or masculine. But when he starts yelling that sparkling water is for real men, I go, no, still water is. And then it's a hill I want to die
and
on.
he does this weird impersonation of somebody who takes a sip of sparkling water and didn't know it was sparkling. He's like, bleh. And then he's like, what's wrong with you? It's just bubbles. It's just bubble. Why are you so mad?
Yeah, I actually don't like sparkling water.
I don't like
agree.
sparkling
it's bubbly
water.
It's gassy water.
If something's going to be sparkly, have it be a Coke.
Yes.
That's all I'll say about
well
that.
said.
So, back on the topic of life being harder as a man than a woman. He says, as men, we have the ability to control ourselves and not act emotionally. He says, after yelling about sparkling water. He's particularly angry with men who cry.
Saying that I felt like crying, so I cried, this makes me a real man, is as stupid as me saying, well, I felt like smashing his face in, so I smashed his face in. This makes me a real man. No. The hallmark of a real man is controlling himself, controlling his emotions, and acting appropriately regardless of how he feels.
He says when you feel like crying, you should not cry because it's an act of mental fortitude. Because when soldiers were in Normandy, they didn't cry.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. The men who...
If I was in a trench and I had trench foot,
I'd be so...
I'd be weeping, going, my foot's so wet and cold. And if I was scared and if I had to get up early the next day and if I was cold and if I was like, I just want to go home, I'd cry.
If I saw a rat.
Oh,
I'd be crying and crying. The other time I would cry if I was in a war, letters from home. They'd make you cry. You open it, it's mum's handwriting. Oh, mum, this sucks.
Get me home.
This war is weird. Anyway, he says they didn't cry. The men who succumb instantly to their emotions are the kind of men who have no self-control. And men who have no self-control are the kind of men who cry when their girlfriend cheats on them, because she certainly does, because she doesn't respect the little crybaby, and she's only with you because she's ugly as fuck, and she has to settle for a little soy boy pussy like... No man wants to be a crybaby, and no woman wants to fuck a little crybaby. Sir, are you 9? Because you sound 9. Why is he so mad at crybabies?
He has this bit where he's like, you need to get with younger women because they're easy to imprint on.
Yeah, manipulate.
Yeah, it sounds very Twilight.
Yeah, he's like, by the time they're older, like 26,
they know.
They know.
To avoid an Andrew Tate.
They've had more experience, they've had more boyfriends, so you need a 19-year-old who you don't have to worry about their mess. You're 35, mate.
You can manipulate and exploit her.
It's... Oh my gosh. He's mad at women if they're ever rude to a man, because he's like, as a man, if there's an intruder, you need to go down and face the guy with the machine gun. And that's why it's so unfair that if you ask your woman for a cup of coffee and she gives you an attitude, he's like, I don't care how long your day was, I paid for this house. And my question is, did you? What house? Why is there a man with a gun?
Why is there an intruder?
And
what do
no
they want?
offense,
Why don't you have a better security system?
I feel like if there's a man with a machine gun in your house, Andrew Tate, I think you baited him. I think you're involved in criminal activity, and that machine gun man, I don't think the woman you're with, had she been living alone, I don't think they'd be the machine gun man. Also, I just don't think it's that often that a machine gun intruder comes into your home.
He hates gluten intolerance.
Yeah, thinks it's pussy.
Yeah, he says if you have a friend who says I can't eat gluten, you need to smack them across the face.
That's
And to that I
lovely
say
advice.
they might get diarrhea and or constipation and or both.
Natural selection and evolution would have taken care of all your ancestors, but yet here you are, standing in my face saying you don't eat gluten.
It is actually very bad celiac disease.
There's this thing called science.
Yeah, and it's like they already can't eat cake. I don't know why you're being so mean.
He wants 25 sons because family is important. And mate, that's not what people mean when they say family is important. It's unclear how many children he has.
Yeah, he won't tell anyone.
But then weirdly, he's in an interview.
Yeah, and the person's like, I have 2 sons, and he's like, more than me.
And it's
I'm
like, do you
"Oh."
have none? 'Cause you can say you don't have children. But it's weird that you're gatekeeping this information. He talks about training a girl, says this is really important advice for any men listening. You've got to fuck a lot of them to find one that isn't a complete mess to begin with. He tells this story about this girl he was talking to who wanted to start a makeup company. So he told her to go to Alibaba.com, buy cheap makeup, put new stickers on it, and get makeup influencers to talk about it.
Theory, that's not what she meant.
After 7 days, she hadn't done it. And so he's like, I told you how to make a business. What is wrong with you? That's why only 1% of people are rich, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, sir, maybe some people have integrity and want to create a good product because they value things other than money. That's not a company. That's not,
it's like
if I want to start a business.
Feels like a bit scammy.
It feels like a scam. And just
She might
because-
have been busy that week.
Yeah, and just because people don't want to currently create a scam doesn't mean they're not ambitious. He has bodyguards, but he says it's for the protection of other people because if someone ran up to him, he'd end them.
Oh.
So the security guards are to stop people running up to him because he'd kill them with his kicking. He says women belong to men and owe them their OnlyFans profits because if you're going out with a man, then they own your
Does make sense.
genitals.
Okay.
Just so you know, if you start an OnlyFans, you'll need to pay a commission to your partner because he owns you. You may say, well, what about the other way around? Doesn't count. Just so you know. He says he's a trillionaire, but he's clearly lying. I've never seen something so embarrassing as when he said he's a trillionaire and the guy's like, there's this moment where everyone's like, wait, that would make you the world's only trillionaire. And no offense, but a hustler just isn't that big.
No.
And, okay, here's a question, Jessie. What's a trillionaire?
It's a billionaire.
I don't think it is. I think it's 1,000 billion.
That's not that much.
Jesse, how did he make that kind of money? He's 35.
His webcam business.
Okay, we'll get into that. It didn't make $1 trillion. Anyway, so then the person says, so you have $1,000 billion. And there's just this pause and smirk and he says, yes. Like, we can't lie about being a trillionaire in that there's some way we can find out that you're not. He has nothing to talk to women about, he says, except sleeping with them, which sounds like a lie because he talked to that one woman about her makeup brand.
He's
Then
a mentor.
There's the things that he hates.
Okay.
He hates Vampire Diaries. Have you noticed that he goes on rants about
No,
Vampire
I haven't
Diaries?
seen this. I don't like Vampire Diaries.
No, like neither. I've never seen it, but I've never ranted about hating it. He just keeps talking about people who spend too much time watching Vampire Diaries. And he says that he was watching a documentary about the war, like Stalingrad or something, and he was with a woman. Unclear. It's always like woman, but you don't know what the relationship. It could be his mum. Anyway, and he's watching that and she said, this is boring. He's like, so you want to watch Vampire Diaries? It's like, well, maybe not. Maybe she wants to watch something else. And then he gets
The Office, for example.
Yeah, The Office is great. He hates still water.
Yeah.
As previously discussed. He hates Teslas. He thinks they're
Weak?
geeky.
All right. He doesn't like geeks.
Doesn't
Okay.
like geeks. Jess, that's kind of a bit of a summary of some of the things he said. People will say, well, how about the time he said this? He said a lot of things, okay? We cannot be exhaustive or we will be here all day. But it's this tone that a certain type of man on the internet has now, and it's certainty. He just yells with
See,
an
he's
air of
adopted
certainty.
the certainty of Jordan Peterson, except he has sunglasses on inside and a cigar.
And no shirt.
Yes, and he doesn't have any of the qualifications.
No, but he goes on this passionate rant about how bad vaping is and how lame vaping is, but he smokes cigars. But it's okay because he knows what he's doing. It's really odd. I find it profoundly embarrassing. Really embarrassing. And he just loves the sound of his own voice. You can imagine when he is not working, I put that in inverted commas because he's yelling at someone during a podcast interview work. He is sitting in his room, looking at his reflection in the mirror and speaking. And just watching himself speak and thinking, oh, you're so good at this.
You're so right,
You're
Andrew.
so right.
Emerson, whatever his name is.
Emery. Jesse, let's move on to Hustlers University. That's a terrible name for a university. It's also not a university by any measure. Tate has a subscription-based online course called Hustlers University, which claims to be the best platform for high-income skill development. It's $49 a month.
Hustlers University is a modern wealth creation method. So we have 18 professors teaching 18 different ways to create wealth in the modern world. Some of the things your parents told you about getting rich and creating wealth is no longer true. Some of the things they said about sit there, save money, put it in your pension, 401k, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work anymore. It's a lie.
On the website, it says Hustlers University has taken the world by storm in its first year of existence. But most outsiders don't understand yet what our cash school really is. Hustlers University is an online money-focused community providing education and coaching to over 100,000 students.
Doesn't it do a bunch with crypto?
Yes.
Teaches you how to crypto? Do you remember when you put money in crypto, then you crashed it?
Then it crashed. That's how I learned, let's not do stocks.
Let's not.
Let's not. Let's keep our money where we can see it.
Exactly.
And that is
how you stay poor.
That's how you stay poor. Andrew Tate would be so angry.
Yeah.
But he's not speaking to me. He's speaking to men. The professors of Hustlers University are 12...
they were professors. I thought it was just Tate.
Well, I mean, they're not professors by any traditional meaning of that word. They're multi-millionaire experts in their selected field. So let me explain to you how it works. You've joined Hustlers University. You're paying $49 a month. You choose a way to make money. It can be anything from copywriting to drop shipping, which is like what he told that woman to do with her makeup brand, to freelancing. Look, it's not super clear. But you make some money and then they teach you how to manage it to make more, with crypto, for example. I'm pretty sure that would be illegal in Australia because we have laws and you're not allowed to tell people how to manage their money without rigorous qualifications, and I'm pretty sure it has to be like one-on-one. So on his website, he just has all these people sharing like how much money they've made, and it's just not enough.
Isn't it?
It's not
I
enough
often
for
find
me.
this. It's like, oh my goodness, I made $500 in a month. And I'm like, it's not nothing, but it's not enough to justify
losing
my
your
time.
integrity.
Yeah.
And if you, calculated how much you're spending and how embarrassing it is for you, the cost far outweighs
The benefit.
the benefit. It was through Hustlers University that he went viral because, as we mentioned before, members were encouraged to make content of Tate, with each member getting a referral cut for signing up new people to Hustlers University. Now, just before I was talking about copywriting, dropshipping, another way to make kind of the initial fund to then manage was by cutting up videos of Andrew Tate and putting it on social media.
We should actually do that with our cancelled listeners. Because remember the other week when we were just like, anyone got any TikTok ideas? Like, we're literally crowdsourcing with them.
Now, Hustlers University has been described as a pyramid scheme. This is important. The idea is that anyone who buys into Hustlers University can become an affiliate of the course. As an affiliate, you make 50% of anybody else you refer to the program. So Tate's the top, people below him paid full price, and they're making 50% from the people below them, and so on. Sounds very pyramid scheme. It's sad because really, this is all about money, and also Hustlers University is an embarrassing name.
It really
Would you
is.
agree?
It really is. And in fact, okay, I listened in preparation for this. I went and listened to his podcast. He has a podcast called Tate Speech.
Okay,
which is like hate speech, but
lovely.
Tate.
Lovely.
He does
play
it with
on
his
words.
brother, Tristan.
Tristan.
If you were Tristan, you'd be so pissed because he's really been eclipsed by Andrew.
I know, and he actually says weirder stuff. I almost went into him and then I thought, no,
I don't
this
have
is
time.
about Andrew Tate.
Okay, so I was like, I'll listen and see if it's good. This is what happened.
Are we good, or we could have the cigars come in mid-show, right, Andrew? Or you want to start with the gar?
We can do. I just want to make sure she
Don't fuck it up.
Whose duty is that?
Yeah, who's on cigar duty right now?
Tash. She's supposed to be getting them.
Was that your girl or assistant?
It's a chick. One of my chicks, yeah. One of my wives. I got 4 wives. I'm from Ethiopia.
Andrew Tate is the producer and the quality is appalling.
Yes, it's really echoey.
It's really echoey. The sound is really, really bad. And you know why? Because they're making it primarily for YouTube, which makes it difficult to listen to as they are referring to things I cannot see. They play a song they definitely don't have the rights to over and over again. He can't say the word podcast. He says podcast.
Oh, because he's got this very interesting
British
accent.
American twang.
Every now and then there are a few words that he says as British, and it's really frustrating.
There are extended moments of silence where he's trying to work out how to produce a podcast.
He says that he bought all the equipment, cost quite a lot of money, but he doesn't know how to do the buttons.
No idea. He kept asking if I could hear the sound effects. I couldn't. And I didn't know how to say no.
It's really a one-way medium.
No, Andrew, I can't hear your sound effects. I can't hear anything. It's just silent for 45 seconds.
Oh,
it's just terrible listener experience. And you know how ages ago our dad found on his phone an effect that applauded him? So Dad would tell a joke, for example, and then he would clap himself.
Yes.
That's what Andrew Tate does.
No.
So he has his own sound effects that like whoop. And then he talks about Hustlers University actually it's 15 minutes in and he's like, what are we going to talk about today, Tristan? And I'm like, what? Why wasn't this more prepared? And then they're like, let's talk a little bit about the news. And I was like, this is just 2 men thinking that they have enough for a podcast and they don't. Then they go into Hustlers University and then he goes, time for a quick advert. And I'm like, but that was an advert. for Hustlers
That
University.
wasn't organic.
That wasn't organic content. I just fundamentally didn't understand what the purpose of the podcast was. But yeah, they've done 3 episodes. It's very, very bad.
Okay, because my research for this consisted pretty much of spending hours on TikTok under the Andrew Tate hashtag. And there's something like 13 billion views. And I am looking, and what this seems to be is that this man is invited onto podcast after podcast where he just launches into soliloquy.
Yes.
And I am like, whose podcast is this? What question did they ask him to lead him to yell about sparkling water? And they're all laughing. The people are like, he does this bit where he's like, have you ever seen a pregnant Chinese woman? And these guys are like, oh, no, I haven't. What? Yes, you have. And why are you talking about this?
How did that come up?
I don't know. I think it's racist, but I can't even work out what he was trying to say.
Yeah, how? Okay.
Jesse, moving on to actual criminal investigations. In 2016, when Tate was on Big Brother, as previously stated, a video surfaced of him beating a woman with a belt. He maintains it was consensual. To me, it sounds like a crime.
And then his defense was she was laughing. And I'm like, okay, so funny story. I saw the video.
She wasn't laughing.
She's not laughing at all. In the clip, he threatens to effing kill her.
Jeez.
If she messages other men and then demands that she says she loves him or something. It's like really sick. And apparently the way that it got out is that he sent it in a group chat to a bunch of his mates being like, I'm really pissed at my girlfriend or whatever. And then it got leaked from there. So it was like a funny thing they both put on the internet.
How embarrassing.
Yeah.
In a now deleted video posted to his YouTube channel, Tate stated that he decided to move to Romania because it was easier to be absolved of rape charges in Eastern Europe. In April 2022, his house was raided in relation to a human trafficking and rape investigation. The US Embassy had previously alerted Romanian police that an American woman might be held at the property. The raid resulted in the recovery of an American woman and a Romanian woman, and as of April, the authorities said the investigation was still ongoing. He denies any wrongdoing.
He says that just because he moved to a country where it's easier to get off rape charges, which he's brought up multiple times, doesn't mean that he personally wants to or has raped. And that feels like me saying, like, I go to the Cayman Islands and I'm like, yeah, I really like the Cayman Islands, it doesn't tax me, but I'm not here to evade tax. And it's like, yes, you are.
And it's like, well, why did you mention it? Why was the first part of your sentence like that? The interesting thing about this whole human trafficking thing is that him and his brother did a video responding to all the rumours. It was an hour and 20 minutes long. I don't have time. Jesse, these men,
Give me some
just
dot
come
points.
on. It's like dot point. Human trafficking did do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just
like check, even
yes,
like,
no.
you know how sometimes on government websites it's like green tick, red cross. Like just to make it quick, because we're living very busy lives. We're at Hustlers University. We're listening to the War Room podcast. Between that, We really need to just get some clarification.
We don't have time for you to respond to all the rumours, and I feel like you're going to be responding to silly rumours when what I need is to know about the human trafficking. Because him and his brother said, no, misunderstanding. Girl came to our house for a party, took a video. Boyfriend got jealous. She said, I didn't even want to be there. And then that's how the whole human trafficking thing happened. The question is, why was she still at his house? Okay?
That much later.
Because it wasn't during a party that she was recovered. In a now deleted YouTube video, Tate said he's not a rapist, but probably 40% of the reason he relocated to Romania is because police are less likely to investigate sexual assault cases. So
related,
again,
I suppose.
in another video, he said he was investigated and held in custody for 2 days for allegedly abusing a woman in the UK. He denied the allegations. In an episode of the Pomp podcast, he openly discussed hitting a woman and breaking her jaw during a bar fight. He said he ended up in court, was charged with causing bodily harm. The interesting thing is he tells so many stories. It's like, same woman or different woman? You know? Like, is this a different story?
That sounds like a crime, which sounds very out of our remit.
It does. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have shared that they ran a self-professed total scam business in Romania that used cam models, performers who typically stream sexually explicit acts via private video chat, to lure men into sending them money. And so these women claim to have crippling university debt or a family member in need of health care or a dream of moving to the UK and told men that they really wanted to meet them. And it was all this scam to get money. And Andrew Tate and his brother were taking all the money. And I think it was in like 3 different locations around the world. It's like, you're a pimp.
You're a pimp who also runs a scam. And so people around the world are going, hey, Andrew Tate, how do I get rich? And he's like, oh, sorry, easy. You just run a scam. An illegal scam that exploits people. He said that was his eureka moment, that he was on the internet and he saw like live cam girls in the corner and he was like, eureka. Like, eureka is what they said when they found gold. You just found a scam.
And that's what I find quite upsetting because obviously there's all the stuff to do with women, there's the crimes, there's all of that. But I do find it really upsetting with Andrew Tate, the focus on money at the expense of all else. Because he's like, I have a Bugatti. And it's like, you have women locked in your home. And you have a cam girls business.
And he also says that you must diversify, which is why he has multiple scams. So you can't just have one scam because if they shut that down, what on earth are you going to do? So he's like, no, diversify your scams.
Yeah.
So you've got Hustlers University. I have my podcast where I'm mostly silent trying to work out the buttons. I also have cam girls. I also have, honestly, a sex trafficking ring in Romania.
Yeah.
See? It's called diversity.
See, this is how you make money. This is how you become a trillionaire. So you're not a trillionaire. Again, another scam. He's a strange, strange man. Jesse, now it's time for how the internet has reacted. Everyone be tweeting and commenting and yelling. And there's a poor Texan weatherman also named Andrew Tate. And he tweets about the weather. And people reply to him, you fucking wife beater. Poor man. Jesse, here's the vibe online. I'm just entering in just a few little tweets.
Okay.
Jesse, please describe what you're seeing in this image and how maybe it does sum up the vibe with Andrew Tate.
Let me take a look. All right. It is a man. That is so true. It is a man laying on a bed on his laptop. He's got his shirt off, but he looks like a hoarder. He's surrounded by empty beer bottles and alcohol and food scraps.
Mm-hmm. And what does it say?
It says Andrew Tate got banned for telling the truth. No.
I think that kind of says everything about Andrew Tate's followers, is that they are these men
who live in basements.
Being like, oh, you're just scared of knowing the truth. And it's like, do you have a business, mate? Do you have a business? But more importantly, is it a scam? Jesse, how about this one? Do you want to read this one out?
Okay. I'm not a misogynist. I just like Andrew Tate for his traditional values, such as human trafficking, sexual assault, and pedophilia.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me that Andrew Tate thinks he is the number one alpha male of the world, and yet this man has every woman on their knees. It is a picture of Harry Styles with his arms up above his head. He's wearing a feather boa and a jumpsuit, and he has bright pink sunglasses on.
And that's the thing, is that Andrew Tate's like, nobody wants you to cry. I'm a real man. And it's like, your image of masculinity is not what anyone wants. I'm also yet to see your harem because you're claiming that you have all these girlfriends.
Never seen them.
And I don't know where any of them are.
I've not met a woman who goes, yeah, no, I do find him attractive.
Yeah. Oh, I like his sunglasses. Nobody says that. Jesse, here's the final one.
Okay.
And this is in regards to recent news that he's been banned from some social media platforms.
The good news, Andrew Tate was banned on TikTok. The bad news, he's going to go back to human trafficking women in his webcam sex slave dungeon. That's very true. It's like, is TikTok the problem?
I know. I think this is real crimes that need to be investigated.
Has he been banned from TikTok?
Okay, so this is what's happened. So Meta banned him, so Facebook and Instagram. That was really recent. They banned his official accounts for violating the company's policies on dangerous organisations and individuals. Now, on TikTok, it's like his official account has been banned, but I think it's harder.
But he's everywhere because everyone cuts his videos.
Yeah, everyone cuts his videos because they're being paid for it. And my question is, Jessie, do you think he should have been banned?
I feel in two minds about this because at first I was like, I don't know if banning people always makes me a little bit nervous. Censorship makes me nervous because I think, okay, what if this was someone that I really agreed with who had radical views on the other side? But then I was reminded that he's a criminal who's running scams.
Yeah.
And I went, that is actually illegal. And remember Milo Yiannopoulos? He just disappeared off the face of the earth.
He did. My only thing about people like Andrew Tate being taken off is that do they go underground and do they go to more dangerous places where they're not being interrogated? Because the thing about him being on Facebook and Instagram and lots of videos of him being on TikTok is comedy and parody.
Yeah.
So I guess the problem is if he's on some dark web, dark spot of the internet where we can't see him, is that a worry?
Yeah. On the podcast I was listening to, he kept telling people who wanted to ask questions about Hustlers University because he said his DMs are for bitches. So they're for people coming in and asking to have sex with him.
Okay.
And he
says he gets 6,000 DMs an hour.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And he said go to Telegram. So he's going underground.
I have to say, having spent quite a bit of time on his website in the last few
It's not
days.
a very good website for a man who's loaded.
The videos didn't work and they were very glitchy. But the thing I did notice, great at getting an email address. There's a little chat bot that comes up and it said, hi, do you want to get rich or something? And then I went to respond no, and you had to put an email. So I went no@idk.com and I just wrote no. And then they're like, great, here's some information. And I'm like, you assumed I said yes.
Oh.
But to access like an ebook, you've got to put your email in. So I reckon he's got a great subscriber base of emails with the people he can sell things to. Jesse, it's time for charges and sentences. Andrew Tate is why actual prisons were invented.
Yeah. And actual courtrooms like the one our dad went to.
Yes. So people who are bad can go to jail and learn from their mistakes, hopefully. However, that's not what we're here for. I want to charge Andrew Tate III with being a narcissistic, materialistic, misogynistic grifter who is currently being investigated for human trafficking.
All right, that sounds legit.
My sentence. And this is going to be really hard for him. Because, I mean, look, a common sentence on this podcast is get a job, any job. Okay? We've been there. And I thought that for him. And then I thought, no, there's actually something.
No, because he'll get a scam.
He's just going to turn anything into a scam. So there's actually something more urgent that I need to sentence him to.
Okay.
And that's this. He needs to speak to a woman about something other than sex and giving her bad advice for her makeup business.
Okay.
Because he says that's all he speaks to women about. He's like, I speak to women about two things. If I'm going to have sex with them and then like how to have more sex with them.
Well,
I'm
no
like,
wonder they seem
ew.
dumb. It's not like they
Ew.
can bring up like what they studied at university.
Exactly, because you're only talking about pussy. It's really gross. Anyway, I want him to start some conversations. That's my sentence. I want him to go up to a woman and say, hi, Andrew Tate, I would like to ask you a question. What do you think about feminism? Okay? And he has to listen. And he can't look at himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And he's not allowed.
Can't interrupt.
Not allowed to interrupt.
And put your cigar down, a passive smoking.
Put a shirt on. And no soliloquies. We are actually listening. Okay? That's really important. He doesn't particularly like his sister.
No, he doesn't like his sister at all.
Because she's a feminist and she goes to rallies and stuff. and he doesn't understand it. And I think he really just needs to speak to some women.
She seems like a bit of a hero.
I know. Actually, Andrew Tate seems to vibe. I hope she's it's like Justin Bieber saying he hopes Anne Frank is a believer. I hope Andrew Tate's sister is a cancelled listener.
Me too. She would like this episode.
Yeah.
My charge is trying to be funny but being misogynistic instead, which does happen sometimes. I think this man is courting attention, knows how to get it, kind of goes on a tangent and then accidentally says, I effing kill bitches or something.
Do you think he's an actor? Do you think he's doing this on purpose because he knows exactly what's going to get views?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think he believes it?
He's a scam artist. A little bit. Because he contradicts himself a lot.
Yes.
So not really.
Yes.
My sentence is in regards to podcast training. And I just don't think that he has the skills.
No.
So I thought that we have a podcast named Mamamia, right? We make like 400 million or, as Andrew Tate would say, trillion podcasts a week.
Yeah.
And I thought, how lovely would it be if Andrew Tate came in and we said, your podcast honestly has potential because
you have an audience.
You have an audience.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend you don't. But there are some critical issues.
Yeah.
For example, it is not a visual medium. That is the first thing.
Yes.
He keeps talking about a Versace gown. Sweetie, I can't see it.
We really need to think about the medium and the message.
Okay,
That's the
I
whole
think
thing.
he's doing both.
Okay, but
at the
that's what I
same
mean.
time.
He needs to make a call.
Okay, he's making his podcast live. He needs not to. When we're clickety-clack, when we're Googling, we can cut that later.
Yeah.
Also, I think he needs to cut Tristan loose.
Why? Is Tristan not good talent?
He's not good talent, and also they're too similar. He needs someone different for some more tension.
Okay, does he let Tristan speak?
A little bit. But Tristan doesn't really add anything. So I think Tristan can go.
Okay, do you think it's just Andrew Tate?
No, I think that he needs someone who thinks a little bit differently to him that can rile him up. Because he's best when he's angry.
He is best when he's angry.
So I think maybe a feminist.
He needs somebody to feed him questions.
Exactly.
So that he can launch.
Yes.
Are you suggesting at Mamamia we produce his podcast?
Yeah.
I think our podcast producer would be really keen on that.
Yeah.
She's always wanted to produce Andrew Tate's
Exactly.
podcast.
I just think there's a lot of room for improvement. That is my sentence. I have an additional charge and sentence.
Okay, we always love a bonus.
Because he is a criminal. It's making women watch war docos about Stalin.
Yeah.
All right? And look,
things about Russia, like he's like, oh, it's boring. Men were in the snow and blah, blah. It's like, I'm sorry, but Russia, long history, big place. Quite boring.
I know, it really is. And I love history. I always like the idea of a historical documentary, and then I sit down and I go, this just isn't compelling enough. There's too much context. Sometimes it's black and white. There's soldiers in the street, and I just go, I would rather watch something else, such as Lux Listings.
Yes.
And so what is my sentence? Great question. It is that you must watch Vampire Diaries.
I want him to watch it start to finish, because the thing about any TV show is if you watch any TV show start to finish,
You'll get into it.
You'll get into it. You'll start talking about he'll be on his podcast talking about Hustlers University, and then he's like, anyway, on Vampire Diaries
last night. Exactly.
Okay, Jessie, that's all we have time for today. If you liked this episode, I guess you can give us a review.
Yes, please. Or you can share bits on TikTok.
Yeah, like cut it up for us. Do an Andrew Tate.
Thank you. Our producer is Emma Gillespie, and we will be putting some of our most hated Andrew Tate videos on our cancelled Instagram. You can go and find them.
We always share the receipts.
Exactly, and that's on the Twins Thoughts Instagram. And we will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I find myself super funny. I find myself super funny.
If you love the show, the best thing you can do is become a Mamamia subscriber. Mamamia subscribers get access to every podcast, exclusive videos, and all the great articles on Mamamia. It only costs $5.75 a month, which is less than a large coffee or a small coffee if you get oat milk. Please see the link in our show notes.